101.1 FM. Lou Sacco joins us in our studio here this morning. Lou, of course, involved in the Indiana County law enforcement community for many, many years, and announcing this morning that, Lou, you're about to take a new step.
Yeah, thank you, Todd. I'm here today to announce that I'm officially a candidate for Indiana County Sheriff, and I'm seeking the Democratic nomination.
All right. You have been in law enforcement for how many years?
30 years now.
30 years of it.
30 years.
Yeah, in probably every conceivable position.
Yeah, I've, believe it or not, in Homer City, I got to do kind of a little bit of everything. You know, being a small town, you know, we don't have the investigators and all that. You are the investigator. So I got to see a wide variety of aspects of law enforcement. And I've actually had some experience within the sheriff's office. I've gone through and got my Act 2 certification, which is basically, since I'm already a police officer, I had to do a changeover, basically learn the civil end of things. And I actually worked part-time as a deputy for a while.
Okay. You are currently a police officer, yes? I'm
currently a police officer. I retired in Homer City a couple years ago, and I'm working part-time with the Cherry Tree Police Department. I have a rank of sergeant there, and I'm also working part-time with the Clymer Police Department.
Tell me what went into the decision to run for sheriff.
Well, I tell you what, it's been a long time coming. It's something that... you know, when I got into law enforcement, it's just something that I've always wanted to do. I think with my training, my experience, I can make a difference, and that's what I've always wanted to do. Getting into law enforcement was make a difference.
The duties of a sheriff, for folks who aren't aware, are different than they are from a police officer.
They are different. The sheriff receives his powers through the Pennsylvania Constitution, their constitutional powers. Basically, the sheriff does, he's an officer of the court. They do court security, transport prisoners. They do have, arrest powers. But, basically the focus of their job is basically, like I said, transportation of prisoners, courthouse security, serving civil papers, officers of the court.
In your work as a police officer and as a deputy sheriff, you have had the opportunity to work within the law enforcement community with the court end of it, with judicial branches, both the magisterial district courts and the courts of common pleas.
Yes.
So you know how that system all operates.
Oh, yes, and I've even testified in federal court, and I've also testified at a military trial in Kansas. So I've got to see the different aspects of different court systems.
Yeah. What do you believe are the main challenges facing Indiana County from the Sheriff's Department perspective?
Well, one of the main things is basically, again, the duties of the sheriff, but is, I would like to see a bridge built between the sheriff's office, local police, state police, and federal law enforcement. One of the biggest things is the opioid crisis, and it's horrible. I've seen it through working as a drug task force member. It seems like it's a never-ending battle, and I think with cooperation with the sheriff's office and local law enforcement and local communities, to work with the local communities, that's the biggest thing. I think that would be one of the biggest things right now, because our courts right now are getting inundated with the arrest of not only DUIs under the influence of a controlled substance, but the arrests of controlled substance. And when we're bringing them into the court systems, the sheriff's office will be dealing with them either through transportation, court security, serving warrants, so forth.
We're talking with Lou Sacco, who has just announced that he is going to run for Indiana County Sheriff this year. In the past 15, maybe even 20 years, there have been several times when the State Sheriff's Association and others within the sheriff community have asked for broadened powers from the state legislature. Do you see that as something that is necessary, broadened powers, or do you think the powers that are invested in the state sheriff's departments are about where they need to be?
Well, my belief is this. We have a duty the sheriff's office has a duty of what the Constitution has provided. I mean, they have a duty. Their first priority is the officer of the court. But I don't see a reason why, whenever the deputies are out there, performing their duties as a deputy, that they shouldn't have the power to do what they need to do. To me, it doesn't make any sense. As long as they receive comparable training, and from what I see, the Sheriff's Act, they are provided that comparable training. So as long as they receive the comparable training, I don't have a problem with it. I think that should be a direction. I'm a firm believer. The more law enforcement out there, the better things would be.
Of course, Allegheny County does have those broadened powers, does it not?
They do have the broadened powers.
They're the only ones,
and they're the only. I believe maybe the Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But it's actually within the. It's actually a statute, a law that was written specifically for Allegheny County.
Yeah. Okay. So,
which to me it didn't make any sense, but I don't make the laws.
of the mind that if it works there, it should be applicable across the state.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so the campaign will get underway. You announced that you're running for the Democratic nomination.
Yes, Democratic nomination for sheriff.
All right, well, we thank you for coming in to tell us about it and to share some time with us. Anything else folks need to know about your run? I'm sure you have a Facebook page set up, those sorts of things.
I have a Facebook page. It's going to be ready to launch here shortly, and we'll be having a website here shortly also.
Very good.
Lou Sacco for sheriff.
Appreciate it, Lou. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for the opportunity, Todd.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS, AM 1160.